Thank you all for being here. Obviously, this is a very happy day for a lot of people in this room and a happy day for our family. As you can imagine, this past few weeks and months has been a time of us really bringing our memories together of Celeste and what it was like to see her grow up. As her mother Barb and Carrie and I remember her growing up years. Some of you in this room recall Celeste as a toddler, and even then she had no shortage of confidence. I remember well after day of kindergarten, Celeste would give these after-school reports, and she would recount very earnestly all the ways that she had excelled in that particular at kindergarten. And I remember once in particular, she was telling Carrie and me about her various good deeds and accomplishments that she had done. And at one point, Celeste paused, and she said, "And you know what else I really like about me?" Celeste and I just burst out laughing because nobody talks like that. Carrie and I burst out laughing. You don't hear people talk like that. But I love it. And I know some of you also work with Celeste, and it's great to have you here as well. You may be interested to know that Celeste has always been a very natural leader. One day after school, she came home, she wasn't happy, and she said the other kids weren't being nice. And I kind of pressed her for some specifics, and she said, "Well, they keep saying, Celeste, you're not the boss." Fortunately, Celeste doesn't take herself too seriously, and one of the things I love about Celeste is the way that she can laugh about herself and poke fun at herself, and then just lets out that loud laugh that you've heard if you've ever spent any time around Celeste. And I do love that about you. As a parent, I think one of the most satisfying things that you can come across is when you witness your child displaying acts of kindness to other people. Celeste has a big heart, and not just to her friends and to her family, but to strangers in need, whether they be landslide victims in Oso, or a homeless man sleeping outside the Sprint store. She just finds ways to reach out to those people. That heart showed itself to me a few years ago when I made the difficult call to Celeste to tell her about my cancer diagnosis. And Celeste was living in Los Angeles at the time. She immediately made plans to move to Bellingham. And it was a real unexpected joy for me and for my family. She left her job, left her friends in LA, and it was just a selfless and instinctive kind of an act. And it's one that wouldn't surprise anybody who knows Celeste. That's just how she would respond to that. And even today, that generous spirit really showed itself again when you arranged it for me to walk Sarah and Hannah down the aisle. And that was a very sweet gift, Celeste. Thank you for doing that. Celeste is surrounded by people who care about her deeply. And Anthony, you must have known that when you had your work cut out for you when you started courting Celeste. Many of you here do know Anthony today, and that's with great joy you've all made the effort to come here and be here for this couple. I'll tell you a few things I've learned about Anthony over the past few months. First of all, as you've heard a little bit already about, he has these off-the-wall interests that he gets really passionate about. He's into retro photography, works painstakingly in his own color developing lab. He's into craft beers, he's into board games, he's into mountaineering. around our dinner table, Anthony has shown his good nature when we've poked fun in holes in his ideas for inventions. Here he likes critiquing the pop-up hiking umbrella. He's also entertained us with business ideas that he's had. A lot of them seem to center around his favorite food group, which is bacon. You'll see great things out of this man with bacon. I've also come to know some deeper things about Anthony too. You won't hear this from him probably, but a few years ago, Anthony had the opportunity to help somebody out in his family at considerable disruption to his life. He was willing to do so despite the prospect of personal risk, and there was sacrifice involved. And hearing from his family about that and reading about that reveals a lot to me about what family means to Anthony. I have seen him show respect for me and for Celeste's mom and for Carrie. Most importantly, I've seen Anthony's love for Celeste, kindness for Celeste. And I'm so proud and happy to welcome you into our family today. Celeste and Anthony, like a lot of young couples, you'll learn a lot in the coming years about making your marriage work. And it's far beyond anything that we could say in this room for you today. But I see you today starting out as a couple unafraid of acting boldly for love and for making deep commitments. As I think of your marriage, I can only feel the way that the good old hymn put it, strength for today and bright hopes for tomorrow. Today we share in your joy, your strength, and all of your brightest hopes. We wish you every blessing. So everyone, would you please raise a glass with me as we celebrate this marriage to the bride and groom.
At this time, Anthony and Celeste would like to say a few words.